Good morning. This is the March 26th, 2024 meeting of the Recycling Committee. Remember which hat I'm wearing?
Just roll the dice.
Yeah, like my parents used to say, Jean, Jen, Joel, Jim. Which one of you is it?
Yeah, my mother used to do this.
I know, they're just.
I'm doing it already.
Are you? Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I think it's
Okay,
genetics,
so this meeting is being recorded by PAC TV. Anyone intending to make an audio or video recording of this meeting should notify the chair at this time. Seeing none. Present as members of the Recycling Committee are
David O'Connell.
Vanessa Brigade.
and Jean Landis Norman. We also have in attendance our Streets, Trees, and Parks Superintendent Bob Assler and our map Todd Kemp. Welcome.
We have someone on the screen.
We also have a visitor, Michael. Michael, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm Michael. I'm just here to watch. Just interested.
Okay. Are you a Kingston resident?
No, I'm visiting family, but they said this was going on. I'm a college student and, I'm just interested in this kind of stuff. So,
Oh, excellent, excellent. Welcome. I hope you find our discussions interesting and informative.
thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us.
So I'm going to say we call the meeting to order at 9:05.
That's fine. Have we already lost Jean?
Yeah, we're gonna have to close that door.
I know, I think we will.
He'll be back in a minute, I would assume.
Okay.
He left his phone, so you can't go too far. His phone is hacked. It's hacked to Facebook. I grew up with just like, I need a lot of caffeine.
There he is.
Could you close that
Hey,
door,
wanna
Jean,
share
behind
the
you,
chat?
please?
We're getting a lot of noise from the hall there. Okay. And I don't know if you're here, our visitor is a college student who's here visiting, who's joined us for the meeting. Okay, so before we get too far, I'm just going to do a quick ad for the Agricultural Commission. We are doing a program on raising goats. Tuesday, April 16th, it'll be at the Council on Aging building here in town. Our guest speaker is going to be local guest goat expert Beth Corbett. She is a member of the Agricultural Commission. We had a rather successful program on making maple syrup a couple weeks ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wanted to go too.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, it was nice. We had the president of the Adirondack Forest Association come and do a presentation. He's a retired school teacher who has a pretty extensive maple syrup operation. And
That would have been fun.
it was
I would have loved to
interesting.
have seen that. And was it recorded?
No, it wasn't recorded. And then we have the native plant program coming up April 30th. That'll also be at the Council on Aging. I'm doing that in conjunction with the Agricultural Commission and the Conservation Commission and the Garden Club. So we're Blue Stem Native is going to be coming. They'll be talking about why have native plants, and then we're going to offer residents the opportunity to order from them with a 10% discount, and we'll coordinate the delivery for everyone here in June. Somewhere here behind the townhouse. So hopefully we'll have a good day on June 1st. Okay, so
Wait,
some
June 1st, you said, or April 30th?
June 1st is plant delivery. The
Oh,
program
delivery.
is April 30th. Yeah. All right, so thank you for indulging me there. Okay. When we last met 2 weeks ago, we were in the middle of a discussion on the green teams in the local schools. And due to lack of time, we had to stop, and I promised Jean and David and Vanessa that we would resume at that point. So you want to take over, Jean?
I reached out to the folks at the elementary school, the intermediate school, and
The middle school?
the middle school. And elementary school, they haven't been doing it. Elizabeth McCartney talked to the building committee and they want to move forward with it, trying to reconstitute it. And I asked what help that we can give, but shouldn't really figure that part out yet. Joe, who's at the intermediate school, the one right behind it, right? He is interested. He said they've been doing it, but when paper retriever went out, they lost their paper bin. And I had worked with Republic, who was their waste vendor, and they put a second container there. So they have that for cardboard. His problem is it's not really frequently used because the loading dock is really small, so they can really put the trash bin next to the loading dock. The other one, they've got to get off and walk around somewhere. So he asked if there was any help we could provide with that. So that's something we have to like look at, and maybe we could work with the high school and have them build like a little wooden extension dock or something. I don't, we could kick around some.
Yeah,
different
first we need
ideas.
to look at it and see what the problem is.
Yeah.
Agree.
But other than that, they're still going. And I reached out to Michelle Coffey, who's at the junior high, and her program's always been extraordinary. She's a science teacher. She teaches about recycling and sustainability and stuff. And they have all the bins and they've been doing really good. But she said, I'll talk to you next week because they have been parent teacher conferences.
Sure.
And then I haven't heard from her, so I need to reach back out.
Okay, so you'll follow up with her. Excellent. Anything else?
Well, we had talked, but initially when I got that grant from Mass DEP for 30,000 to help the school districts, I went to each school committee and they developed a recycling material policy. I just talked about Kingston was one of the first 35 green communities, and then I just talked about the mandatory recycling law Kingston has, and the one that the state has. Code of Massachusetts, Regulation 90. I'm printing it out now. Wait.
Okay,
So I made copies for everyone of each of these, so once I push the right buttons, so I'll sort them out and give you all.
excellent, excellent.
So what year was that grant?
Ooh, that was some time ago, wasn't it? Was it 10 years or
No,
Not quite.
No, I was here at that point.
were you?
Yeah, it must have been 20, either 18 or 19.
Okay,
It was right around there.
It was the third time I applied for it.
Yeah.
It was the child.
third time's the charm. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a biggie.
Hmm?
That was a big grant. I think I put it in you could put that in my newsletter too.
Okay.
I'll have to dig that up.
And you also asked about Rick Swanson.
Yes.
the Principal.
Come back here so people can hear you.
So Rick Swanson is the principal at Hingham High School.
Mhm.
And what he does is use the sports team, and he has like a little competition. So they man the recycling stations in the lunchroom, and they guide the students. And he has some way of accounting, right? And whoever wins gets like a pizza party, something like that
Mhm.
at the end of the year. And they do a little bit of composting. And Rick is an alumni from Silver Lake Regional High School. He grew up in Pembroke and graduated in 1998. So
Yeah.
he's,
Did they have some sort of gardening program too? I
Well,
remember
they-
him talking about that, because remember, we had him come down and do a program. And we invited all the teachers to come to talk about recycling programs in schools.
Mhm.
I thought at that time they had some sort of gardening project underway too.
well, they do have a greenhouse
Mhm.
and I'm not sure what they do with that. And they kind of had a cool thing. There was like a beehive and it went through the window and you could see the bees inside the
Okay.
classroom.
Okay.
And then, but they could go outside and
Mhm.
do. And I think that they take the compost and put it in bags and sell it at the end of the year, the
Mhm.
finished compost
Okay, so how did they develop their compost? Where they get the material?
from the cafeteria.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
waste like
Okay.
the weed clippings,
Mhm.
grass.
Okay. And do the students maintain that?
They were,
They were
I don't
maintaining?
know about now, but they were, yeah,
Okay.
they use the backyard composters. I think it was, Ann McGovern helped them set that up.
Okay,
Back when she was still with the EP.
okay. All right. So they're recycling all their organic material from the cafeteria. Excellent. Okay.
And, I invited him to come and we did a thing at the elementary school. He did a presentation about school recycling. And invited a bunch of people and PAC TV recorded it. And I searched on there and I couldn't find it. So it might be in an archive somewhere. So I
Yeah,
have to reach
probably
out to
is.
them and
Yeah.
see if we can make it available.
Yeah, see if it's still relevant. Okay, that'd be good. Okay. Anything else on that? Good. We're long overdue in working with the schools. We've given them a pass during COVID, because we knew they had far more pressing issues than recycling. So I'm glad we're getting back with them. We've talked about this before. Learning about recycling at an early age usually continues through life, because some people find it daunting. Just what can be recycled, what can't be recycled, why does the market keep changing on me? One day I can do it, the next day I can't. It puts some people off because recycling it's kind of an afterthought, I think, for a lot of people, whereas some of us are a little more focused on it. So it is a tricky issue, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't continue to educate. And I think bringing young people into an understanding of how important recycling is definitely an important part of our mission. So thank you, Jean, and David and Vanessa. I know you were involved too. Okay, Paul, what words of wisdom do you have for us going on at the transfer station or the recycling world or signage?
Vanessa and I still gotta work on the signage.
Yeah,
Okay.
so on that though, did you see the email that Jean sent with all the pictures?
Yeah.
I found that harder. I had to read what the pictures meant.
Oh, that one, yeah.
And so I don't know that that's the be all end all.
No, it was just,
I know
was a
it's
suggestion, yep.
and they
Yeah.
Put those on their bins and use them in that way, yeah. I just, I mean, maybe on some level, a little
Can I-
kid would say, no, mom, you can't put that T-shirt in there.
yeah,
But I think on adults, it would be really, it's just like, what's
Yeah.
that? What, you know?
yeah, no, the other, I think this was like, this is a flyer,
Well, they stuck it on all their bins, was what they did. Their
Yeah,
curbside recycle bins had that, so that they
Yeah.
would bring them in and then they'd go, no, don't put that in instead. or
Right.
whatever. But,
Where's that from?
this is from Bourne. I got it off of,
Let's see.
I think what's it called?
The website?
It's that group chat,
Oh, the listserv.
real listserv, yeah. I think I
This
got
is
it off
busy.
of that.
it's very busy. I mean, I thought even to extract some out of it, but then I sort of still felt like it's just too dense.
It is very dense. It is very dense.
And I guess if it would be sitting on your floor, where you're putting your things in,
Mhm.
it would be a good feedback mechanism, but I couldn't think how we could apply it to
I mean, it's good.
containers or fences
It's
or
good,
anything
there's
like that.
just too much on.
Right,
Yeah.
and the more busy it is, the less the
Well, it's
residents
still
gonna
Right,
read
they're
it.
gonna unplug.
Yeah, it's gotta be pretty
The other thing,
straightforward.
the other thing I don't see on this is any reference to recycle smart and make that work. It should be on, because
Right.
that's the final say on what goes to the bin.
Yeah.
And with that gets updated weekly, so.
So you have to just talk to those board people.
I'll talk to Carrie about it, but Phil's gonna do what he wants to do.
Yeah,
This is Phil.
yeah,
So
yeah,
there's not much, we can tell Phil because he wasn't happy before.
yeah.
The hand sanitizer supplies were delivered on Friday.
All right.
They were in my office. The new tractor to haul the trailers was delivered to the town yesterday. So when I'm done with this meeting, I'm probably gonna try to get the paperwork up to the insurance company. So them to make the runs to the,
No, sign it.
Registry.
We have to pay for it. It's for the hand sanitizer.
what else is going on?
Wait, so say this again, hand sanitizer delivered, what was the part about it? For,
We got the new tractor for hauling of the trash, trailers. Delivered yesterday.
Ooh, shiny, gray.
Gray, shiny, sparkling, gorgeous.
Wait, was it?
Don't let
Christmas over
anybody
there?
use it for a while, Paul.
Shit.
Just make that the change.
Well, we ordered that truck, July of 22.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds like Russia. That was their deal. They all sat on their rubles. But they had to wait for somebody to manufacture to buy it. So it could take you 7 years to get a
It
car.
took us a
or
while,
5
but we
years to
got
get a
it.
Fridge.
Wow, yeah.
22 to now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's put our orders in for.
Yeah.
25th, is that right?
Just order it, get approval later.
Yeah.
What kind of track is it?
Freightliner. A 114 SD, it's gorgeous. It's gray, it's the new fleet color.
Mhm,
Got a lot of shiny stuff on it, so
mhm.
it'll be quite the addition to the fleet.
Nice, nice.
You have to, sorry. You can't garage it, can you?
Yeah.
Nope, not yet. Someday maybe.
Yeah, does it, does that mean you now have something you're gonna get rid of?
I would like to try to keep the old one on site.
Okay.
So during the weekends, when they have to move the trash trailer out of the hole and put an empty one in,
Mhm.
it would make it a lot easier just to have one
Give
track.
that flexibility.
Boom, boom, the other ones would be less
Yeah.
interruptions to the residents.
All
So we'll
right,
see, but because the old one is a lemon, that's why we had to
sure.
expedite the renewal or the replacement of it.
Mhm.
So we got that going for us. My administrator or my assistant to the superintendent ordered the new decals for the transfer station stickers.
What color we going with?
Yellow, like.
Apricot,
paint.
right?
No, she said teal maybe. Lynn is in charge of colors.
That's one of
'cause
my
I'm colorblind,
favorites.
so.
Yeah. So the new,
Any color.
so the new stickers for residents to purchase, beginning June 1st,
June 1st is on a Saturday, so it'll be June 3rd.
June 3rd.
Yeah, because we're not opening up on the weekends that early.
So we could do our plant thing by your highway barn on the 1st.
It's a Saturday. I mean, yeah, if you want to, yes.
Okay.
It's fine.
All right.
Now you just said that, you're right, yep.
Any increase in the price?
I don't think I'll be looking at any increases this year.
Okay.
Well, the town had $3.6 million in free cash.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. So I'm very hesitant to say that we need more money because of what?
Right, okay,
But we went up, last year we went up to $20, so
right.
I know that recreation didn't ask for an increase in their stickers, which I'm trying to keep and telling everybody else in town.
How are things going at capital planning? Do you have any equipment for the transfer
No.
station in there?
No, this year we're trying to concentrate on highway vehicles.
Okay. Okay,
And, we're hoping that that'll be the case.
all right.
And then April, I want to say April 20th. Let me just make sure the date is right.
Yeah, Earth Day.
No, April 20th is the first chipping day.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Right.
Yep.
Earth Day is April 22nd this year, which is why they do that.
Now, Paul, there was some discussion of canceling chipping days for the.
Right now, the
fiscal
budget
year
was, the budget's staying intact the way it was proposed.
25. Okay,
So there are dollars set aside for brush chipping.
in fiscal year 2025, great, okay. Because I think that's a huge service for the
Is
residents.
it busy?
Yeah,
It's pretty busy.
April, May, June, big ones.
Yeah.
And usually the last one in October.
Okay, so
But most people, myself too, is I usually burn everything out of my yard.
Most people can't.
yeah, yeah, I've got,
There's a spot on the beautiful lawn.
Yeah.
Well, no, you put the barrel on blocks. And we have been in touch with the recycling committee from Hingham.
okay, go for
And I don't
it,
know if you
Paul.
want to bring that up, Gene, or.
No, you go
No,
for it.
really, yeah. So our recycling friends from Hingham came out to look at the food waste cart a month ago. So now they are requesting that they'd like to come on site and take a short little video of Black Earth emptying the cans. And they would like to have a video of some of our residents disposing their food waste in the cans. And of course, they want to do this on a Friday where the transfer station is closed. So between myself and the chairman of this committee, I think we've kind of lined up a few members of this committee to act as regular residents on a Friday to demonstrate the ease of disposal of food waste at our transfer station.
Well, this is kind of news to them, Paul.
Oh, my God.
It's going to be one of my big asks today.
Oh,
is
okay,
that
I'm sorry
everybody-
about
Oh, I thought they were already picked. I thought.
No, no.
Gee,
Everybody,
just a minute.
everybody
And
say.
I would
your-
love to be in that part of the video, but apparently they want to interview me on camera also.
So you can't just be.
Right, I can't be Paul Baz, the
Not
highway
too
superintendent.
public.
Right.
Yeah, so,
Maybe your introduction to stardom.
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
no, thank
yeah.
you.
3 seconds of fame.
so I just need everybody to gather their organic material this week and show up at the transfer station, what, around 10:30?
This
Friday?
This Friday?
I have no inclination of that happening.
Sure you do. We've been getting emails back and
I
forth.
have not.
Turn
Really?
your jump on.
It was set up that they were discussing to try to get it done. It was nothing.
Okay, well, here's what I've gotten. Let me see. Everything looks great. Reviewing the outline for a filming date. I think Friday, March 29th would work out very well. Would 10:30 a.m. work for everyone? I'm sorry, I thought you were on these
Didn't see that.
emails. But they want to, I'm not sure what the weather's gonna be like on Fridays.
It's not gonna
It's
be
supposed
nice.
to rain.
Early. it's gonna be
Well,
nice.
Thursday's supposed to be worse.
You know, and windy, and they want to do the interviews with you and me inside, and I've told them there's no place inside at the transfer station. That, you know, maybe the highway barn would work, but,
You know, get kind of cozy in the scale.
yeah, I'm not sure that would work, or upstairs in the trailer either.
Yeah, I don't think I want the inside of that trailer on video. to tell
No,
you the truth.
so,
Friday's 86%,
you know.
86% chance.
yeah, so I did email them back that there's really no place there to do
Hmm.
any kind of interviews.
But if we had to, we could come back to the highway department or even.
Well, that's
room here
what I
if we
think
wanted
too.
So if you're not doing anything, you'd like to become a resident, temporary resident of Kingston. So they can see 1, 2, 3, 4 years of
Yeah.
disposal of food waste.
I'm not one camera kind of guy. Don't do
And
it.
I've been trying to stay off camera for about 23 years.
I don't
Well-
do interviews anymore.
So they are coordinating it with Black Earth to be there at a specific time.
Probably a good idea for me not to do that. That'll get me.
Okay.
Put a disguise on you.
Those funny glasses with big nose and mustache. No, I can't do it that way.
Yeah, the whole deal was trying not to have residents open there on Friday.
I know.
We do it Saturday. Saturday's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah.
Because-
Black Earth doesn't come on
Yeah,
Friday.
Black Earth doesn't come on
They don't-
Saturday.
they don't Black Earth
Yeah.
by themselves.
I do not want, and some people probably don't want to be videotaped.
No, but they do, oh, from Black Earth, you mean?
No, from residents of the town.
Oh, but,
Yes.
but you could ask each time, do you mind if we take a
Thank you.
shot?
I'm not gonna stand up there and stop residents and ask.
No, they're coming
That's
on
why,
Friday.
that's why we're doing it Friday.
Yeah,
You guys want to?
all we need is,
Sure.
you know, a couple of
Two
us
weeks,
to just bring your organic material and dump it in. I don't know how exciting that is on video
No,
personally,
but
as well as having Black Earth come and pick it up. But that's what they're interested in doing.
what they're trying to do is show
How
other
easy.
residents of Hingham and the people in charge of it.
Gee,
The
these are
ease
updated.
of adding this to their,
Okay,
Yeah,
their
because
transport.
we have mattresses and textiles on.
So that's why they want to take a videotape of
that was.
the
just
area.
one I
As
used
we
to
told them, it's not that big of
propose
an area.
the
And
two
it's pretty easy
Yeah,
for
they-
the residents
they-
that use it. Boom, boom, boom. So I'm assuming once they have that video done and edited and all that stuff, then they'll bring it to the Hingham select and the Hingham director. To see if they're willing to add that to their.
So
We can put it up on ours too.
here's a major issue. When I went to the transfer station on Sunday, our entire corral was down in pieces. In pieces, it was down.
What kind of corral you making up there?
So,
It's those used screws, you know, there's used screws. I love that. They're
so
worn out.
Art and I lifted up at least a portion that had the sign on it. But the rest of it is down, so it's an ugly scene right now.
Tomorrow's not supposed to rain.
Yeah, it's really ugly right now to have somebody come in and.
Yeah, we can beautify it.
Video.
Is it 3 pages total?
And then with the hand sanitizer now having arrived, what do we want to do to install it?
You know, my feeling is, if you're gonna do that, we should build a new corral.
I know, but we don't.
But not by Friday.
No,
It's
no,
not by
not
Friday, but-
certainly not this week, you
Yeah.
know, but.
But that would require us to purchase some lumber, purchase the, all the necessary hardware and have at least 2 or 3 on a crew to do it. Do we have those resources?
I think
What
so.
about the dog kennel thing that we put the LP tanks in?
I don't
It's
want a
like-
dog kennel. I just
No.
want that nice little wooden corral.
Yeah, the dog kennels for the LP tags. That's where they're staying.
Yeah.
By fire department's code. So we're not using that. That's
No,
all.
but
No, no, he was talking
Just-
about
I'm saying-
duplicating something.
Dog kennel's probably $800 or $900.
Yeah.
Is it-
We don't need a
Yeah,
dog.
they're really
kennel.
expensive.
And there's no roof.
Yeah, we don't need a roof. All we need is an area that contains those
We
bins.
need to be able to dig holes and put posts in so the thing doesn't fall over.
Well, that's true.
But I went on the pavement, so you don't have to walk in all that muck.
Well, it can be. I mean, it's right up against the
Wow.
pavement,
It is.
you know.
We should be able to do that, huh? Maybe.
Hmm.
Put posts in.
No, you have to go
How,
around.
how far on the
Go
pavement
around.
is it?
Yeah.
I don't pay attention, I just do it. I don't
Where's
pay
the end of
attention.
the
to
past landfill first? Before you start digging. this, there you
50
go.
feet.
Oh, yeah, it's
We're
not,
not
it's
going
not
Yeah,
there.
okay, just double check, because
Yeah.
I've run into that a couple.
But that's not gonna happen, right? Where this is now, there's no cap.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but is this a permanent location, Paul? Or, I mean, I think it needs to be a little flexible because you may need to move it, right?
I mean, that's depending on if we expand it or something, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, where it is right now is working for you at the moment.
Right.
Um,
It's kind of.
and do you
off the
foresee
beaten-
that not being an area you would need in the near future?
I don't see any reason to move from where it is.
Okay. all
But
right.
like, if it grows down over time, we might have to talk about different.
Yeah, the other thing is if we're gonna put some effort into building a new corral, then we can make it just a tiny bit wider. So
I
that
think
if we
it
get a
needs to
third
be.
barrel,
Right, third
it'll
barrel.
fit. And
Yeah.
then in the future, if it gets bigger than all.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it should be
So we can
able to
just widen it,
accommodate
and it's
3.
not gonna be that much wider. Because it's
No.
really
Maybe
stuck
like
in there.
2 feet maybe.
Couldn't you just use like pressure treated 4x4 for
Yeah,
the base and then put the posts on that? And then if we have to move it, you can still move it.
Yeah, we can make it so it sits on the ground.
So it's.
Once we
movable.
screw it together tight, it shouldn't fall apart. That's. the
Yeah.
issues we
Yeah,
have.
Or
I
you
mean,
could, or you could
honest-
do two posts, you put, you know,
Yeah.
you don't have, if you put the post on the open end,
It should
Like to
hold.
lock it in, yeah.
you know, you don't need rear posts.
Yeah.
Just-
Is that guy still trying to get in?
So
Well, I
it's really
told him to
tight.
go around.
So it's just really digging two holes and putting the post there, and then with the sanitizer, you can put the sanitizer
On the
on
post.
one of the posts.
Right, right. And for that, we are gonna need some screws.
Yes,
And batteries. I can bring batteries, but it does operate on some batteries and then Paul,
And then open up the box. It has battery. That's electric dispenser.
Yeah, when you just hold your hand
yeah,
there.
for
it's
the
easier.
dispenser.
Which means every leaf that goes by.
No, it shouldn't.
No, my concern is in the wintertime.
It should be fun.
Well,
It's
Yeah,
all alcohol.
yeah.
I'm saying about the batteries.
Oh, I'll just
Cold and
replace
batteries
them.
don't really
I'll just
match.
replace them. Mhm.
only if you have an electric car.
Can we store the extra containers of fluid?
I'll leave the truck with you.
I'd rather not have any more recycling stuff in my basement.
Not a problem.
The whole town with all this space, and she stores stuff in her basement.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Come on, let's go, step it up.
okay, so Paul, do you want me to contact them about this Friday and say perhaps the weather isn't gonna be?
Well, you can talk. They wanted to get it done before April.
I'm not sure what the push is. I think they want to have it ready for Earth Day. I mean, if it's rainy, it's rainy,
If it's rain, we can always move. They can come down here if we want, or,
right? Okay.
you know, do have Black Earth do the dumping and maybe pretend that we're doing it, and then maybe later on add to it if they want.
Yeah, well, okay. All right, so we've got that, we've got new corral, but you're gonna
We're gonna
try and
spruce it
upgrade
up
what's
before-
there now, okay.
And then, I had to leave the meeting the last time we met, the discussion was about recycle bags. What was the committee's final say?
Well,
We voted on scrapers, but then we didn't vote on any bags.
Okay,
we
well,
voted on scrapers, and then I found an old email that talked about these bags that were someone had seen this vendor at some sort of recycling show. And it's called a reusable recycling bag. It's $1.29.
Flat
can-
price, but probably after you put a whole bunch of stuff on it, it's more.
Hmm?
But we put Kingston print stuff on it, right? Or
We
no?
would,
So it
yeah, if
costs
we
more
could.
than that.
It could. It's strong, durable, laminated, woven, polypropylene, optional sure grip bottom handle. I don't think we need that. Easily wipes clean, rinses off, virtually leak proof, made from recycled material, custom sizes, full color graphics. It can be used either as a grocery bag or it can be used for people to carry their recycles materials to the dump, which I have seen are lovely green quilted bags being used to haul recyclable material to the dump.
okay,
That's
they're using it, so.
They're using it, but you know,
It's not gonna be much.
$10 a bag. I was hoping they'd use it for
Yeah,
groceries. You know.
that's why we're trying to keep the
So
price
I
down.
did not order the scrapers. I know we voted on that at the last meeting, but then I ran across this. And I thought we should at least consider this as a alternative. So I did send it out to everybody and said that I'd like to discuss it today and see if we're still set on the scrapers. If we are, that's fine. But if we'd like to consider this, then I throw that out there as an option. Anybody feel strongly one way or the other?
Let me see that, I didn't see that.
It's just the bag isn't recyclable, it's the sad part. After they put all the laminate and all the other junk on the plastic, it's trash.
Yeah, it is trash. Yeah.
Just to be
Does
consistent,
it-
what about hemp bags?
very,
You are
very
consistent.
Yeah,
expensive.
you certainly are.
They're $30
I
to
don't
$40
care-
a
I don't care
piece.
How expensive they are, they're good for the environment.
I
And the
agree.
more we buy, the cheaper the price will be.
Uh-huh.
And we have to be the leading edge of the sword. We gotta do the right thing.
And they're like,
Using plastic to collect plastic is just a bad idea.
Well,
Unless
it's
it's
well, you
one
have
out
to
of the
tell them
ocean.
bring in all your bags.
What?
Last time I did show and tell and brought in all my bags. I'm asking Jean to do show and tell and bring in
Oh, all his bags, okay.
I
We
don't
can
know if
see
there's
what
enough
quality
room.
looks
room
like.
here.
Well, you just have to, not all your bags, a sample of all your hemp bags, so we can see what a hemp bag really looks like in the functionality, because I think of it as a coffee bean bag, which is just burlap, which falls apart. It's very easy.
I don't personally own a hemp bag. I've never-
Oh,
Oh, you want us to buy you a hemp bag? So you
Yeah,
can
just like
have
that,
one.
once you're in a row, we will send it. We got everything in our-
You should ask Santa Claus, maybe the Easter Bunny.
no, I did look into that. We've talked about hemp bags before. They are obviously more expensive. As we all know, hemp is as easily grown product, and there is a growing market for hemp products, including clothing and bags, that sort of thing. It's a small amount of the agriculture here in Massachusetts, I think primarily because there is not a huge manufacturing demand for it yet at this point. And I can't remember if it depletes the soil. I mean, you have to look at the whole picture. It might be an easily grown product, but if it depletes the soil, then, are we ahead or are we not? So there's a lot to look at when you say, well, we should do this, we should do that. We have to really determine the full cycle.
Well, this area was a major importer of hemp for the cordage company until they decided that it was economical to move the factory down there instead of bring the hemp up here. So I also don't think climate-wise we're a good environment for it.
We
'cause
may
it's
not
always
be.
come up in the south.
Yeah, it may be.
Is there another product besides a plastic bag or a plastic scraper that you can supply the residents with that's gonna get 20 bucks?
Just kind of catalog of different items.
we looked.
We're looking at prices for,
Well, I know, but there's gotta be maybe something else that we have. to
Well,
buy.
I think we were kind of focused on something that was made of recycled material, and plastic seems to be the most prevalent. So I think that's how we zeroed in on plastic, because we know there's too much of it out there.
Yeah.
Can we recapture some of it by buying products that utilize it?
What are the companies out there that are they're capturing the plastics from the ocean? Do you know who they are?
That was one of them.
Yeah, Ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ocean Plastic Shopper.
'Cause that would be a good one, then you could actually promote that in a
Yeah.
way that's like, look, we're. looking
These are,
They're very expensive.
great.
well,
By the time you pay all the
Yeah.
nonprofits involved in the
they're
process. of it
over
all.
$6 a piece.
Perfect.
Yeah, so if we bought, say 1,000, that would be over 6,000, and then you have shipping, which is probably another couple hundred.
And
on top of that.
labeling. 'Cause we haven't put
Um,
pricing on it
You're
yet.
at 10 grand. So.
So there were, again, we're not reaching every sticker purchaser, which is, we did the quilted bags a couple of years, but only the first 1,000 people get them. And then everybody after that is beaten all up because they're not getting their handout with their sticker. So we were looking at something that was less expensive, utilitarian. Unfortunately, I don't think the scrapers are made out of recycled plastic.
What about, I'm gonna throw this out there, because actually Carrie Parcell was giving these out, bamboo silverware,
Okay,
because you can get those for $1.50 a set.
okay, but are
People throw them away.
People are gonna throw them away
They
instead of
just throw them away.
reusing.
They're not gonna wash them by hand. I don't think they're
I
dishwashing
do.
proof, but I just,
I use mine all the time,
Mhm.
and then I fill out the back of my truck, so I bought others. I was very sad about that.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
the tailgate
there's-
opener took off.
There
It was early.
There is that option here.
I mean, I'm thinking of other stuff besides, I don't know, just some other items, because I mean, you guys have done the plastic bags for a number of years, which is great.
We
That's
have.
cool. The scrapers was an interesting idea, but they're only used
Baking.
3 times a year now because of climate change. I mean, oh, wait,
Wait,
baking
No,
scrapers or
yeah.
car scrapers?
no, baking.
Oh, like the SSRC ones?
Yeah, like cleaning
Oh,
up the
okay. I thought
bottom
you
of the
meant
jar.
Like the one I used this morning for my yogurt. Yeah,
I don't know which one that is, because
Yeah.
I don't know how you get your yogurt. No, I didn't get the invite.
yeah, yeah.
But
I
next
use
time I'll make sure I
them-
show
I use
up.
them at least 2 or 3 times a week, if not more.
Oh, I use scrapers all the time for cooking. That's
Yeah,
a great idea, because I still have Claire's. She gave me 2 back when I first started
Yeah.
8 years ago.
I mean, they are very utilitarian.
They are. They
The
are.
only downside is they're not made out of recycled plastic. I know.
Are they made out of hemp?
And they're not made out
John
of.
Carlton talk.
I'm just trying, come on.
Yeah,
So.
The
this is
idea
been long.
is that it stays in the drawer over time, and each time you pull it out, it says. You can keep
Recycle.
recycling.
recycles.
Yes.
Which
and
makes
that's
you then, oh,
brand
I
new.
planted that again, oh, I planted that again, which I think is that reoccurring,
Positive.
Brainwashing.
exactly. but yet
Well, I
that's
was saying, it's called behavioral changing.
And that was why I liked it, because you throw it in the drawer, and if you need it, you use it, but it's in the drawer every time you like move it, whatever, and so there's a permanency there, whereas,
Yeah.
you know, the bags, the handle breaks, you gotta get rid of it,
Yeah.
and now it's not recyclable in any form because it's too many
Trash.
layers
Yeah.
of, yeah, I mean, it may have come from recycle, but it's not recyclable anymore.
Yeah.
There's something-
Jean, did you have something you wanted to say?
Well, my selling point for the scrapers is I can get all the dessert out of the cake pan or pie pan. I cleaned up a lemon meringue pie. It was a mess. And it's
Yeah.
like clean, very clean.
Well, we don't want to waste food, right? Or calories.
Oh my God, that was fun.
But that's how to get the last little bit into that organic waste container to take to the transfer station.
That's
On
it.
Friday,
Oh, didn't they have the rubber jar openers,
yes.
Yes.
something like that, or,
Yes, and I have one.
do you?
Social Security at some point decided we were gonna do a tchotchkes. And I got one and I still use it.
Yeah, we've had one for years,
Yeah,
probably
Yeah.
20 years now.
So
Even-
for Vanessa's point about
mhm,
repetition,
yeah,
if you had one of those and it's in the drawer,
right.
right?
But you don't use that I don't use it that often. What's
But the
What's
scraper-
better, if you're gonna open a jar, is one of those little, it's a little yellow thing and it just breaks the seal on the jar lid.
Hmm.
It's very easy for someone with weaker hands to use. I mean, you've got that rubber
Oh, yeah.
You
thing.
still have to have.
You
a
still have to
fork,
have some
yeah.
strength, you
Right.
know, whereas this one, it just simply breaks the seal on it. There,
If we had more home canners, that would be a great way to go, because that's what we
Yeah.
use to open our canning jars.
but you can use it on any jar.
Yeah, but I don't,
I use it all the time. I'll bring it next time so you guys can see what I'm talking
Use it
about.
every day, But also somehow incorporate it
Let's-
into the recycling committee and the town. Like, what is that product?
I don't know.
answer.
Do you have an answer?
I don't, I'm trying
people don't
to,
use shoes.
it's still early. I'm working on my first thing of coffee. I'm just. I'm
I
trying to
remember
think
we,
of something.
we opened up the transfer station. After we reconfigured it, we're giving away recycled pens.
Those are dirt cheap. Yeah.
Yeah.
you could find those
But-
are-
Once again,
How many pens do you need?
Right, and
Yeah.
people are typing all the time now. so
I've
it's not
got
as-
2
Pens go
bags
down.
of them in my drawer.
yeah, I mean, that's what happens is they
Yeah,
multiply
they
or something.
multiply overnight,
And they
yeah.
have to have multiple
Don't feed 'em after
functions,
midnight.
like being able to do the touch screen, or
Right.
get your fingerprints off, or write the memo.
I have those that never used them.
So Todd, are there other recycling committees that do something like this? And do you know
Not
what
in my
they've
area.
chosen?
Not in my area.
Not in your area, okay.
I don't know.
All right.
I'd also thought about the scrapers. And when people come and go, that's it, well, can't you give us, and they'll plant all the seeds of like what they'd rather have.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't hear that. I won't do this. I
Yeah,
don't.
and you do it.
What about calendars with the recycling?
Nope.
No.
Well, the
Need more
cost per
calendar.
piece is what we're trying to,
Yeah.
you know, like jeans have bags of $6 a piece. Something like that would probably be $3 or $4 a piece. And then what, are we gonna put pictures of each recycling member on the calendar?
Okay.
Maybe.
You know, Dave, Mr. January, and
He looks like he's volunteering.
I think December, he looks more like Santa Claus than,
okay.
Dressed him up with a bag and scraper.
yeah, yeah. Nothing else.
But we have to-
God.
and we're taping this. We have to remember now, we're out of March, so we got April and May.
Yeah. We've
And it's
gotta
gonna
move.
take, right, we gotta start
Yeah, we've really got to decide today what we're going to do. If we're gonna get them ordered and delivered.
Get them
I
in
mean,
time.
it doesn't matter to me what you guys do. I just was thinking there
Yeah,
might
I
be something
appreciate-
else that.
Yeah,
That's why we
We
have
haven't
you
done,
here
like,
to
all kinds
keep
of
us
times, so,
thinking.
yeah,
Yes.
I know.
So
If I get online, just slap,
do we,
Hmm.
are we gonna stick with our scrapers or do we want to rethink this?
Why are you looking at
I was
me?
fine with scrapers at the last.
yeah, I
meeting.
was, I was too, there's plastic there as well, I mean.
There is.
There's almost no escaping,
No,
but even though the stuff is made from recycled plastic in the bags, it still goes, it gets wasted,
yeah.
it's plastic.
Let me ask the person I deal with at this company if they have any scrapers that have like a bamboo hand.
Mm, yes, 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 yes.
Then you can't dishwash it.
I wouldn't dishwash that anyway.
You can put it in the top shelf, in the top rack.
You can bamboo?
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
I don't know.
I
Okay.
would.
I don't put any kind.
All right, so
that in.
is that our decision to go with the scrapers and if possible, get a bamboo handle?
Really.
Okay.
Sounds good.
And then we can do some more research for next year. Because if these are, let's say they're $2 a piece and we order 3,000. And that's what, 6,000,
Yep.
and then we've got shipping, which is probably not as much as the bags because it's less weight and less volume. So add another 100 or two.
Right.
Okay, so that still keeps us under the 10,000, which I think was our goal to not deplete everything, especially if we're going to go forward with the swap shop. We'll have some expenses there, so, okay. Possible bamboo handle.
How about using some of this TV money for T-shirts for the recycling committee members?
That's a great idea.
So when you guys are up there, you can have a T-shirt, or shirt that says, member of the recycling committee.
Yeah.
We had those before.
Did ya?
Jean
Well,
had
they-
ordered those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the leftovers were in the swap shop and somebody took them along with all of our scrapers. We probably had a couple hundred scrapers in there and somebody took them all. They emptied out that little,
Mm.
room. That's why I asked you to put a lock on it. Yeah. We locked the door after the horse was out.
The T-shirts didn't specifically say it was.
No, I think it just says,
Just said-
recycle Kingston or
Yeah, I
something.
still have one.
I
One,
Know if I ever had one, but,
Hmm.
Jean, is that something you'd want to look into? Is, T-shirts for us?
Sure.
Okay, and we can kind of work on the wording, I think, keep it simple.
Or golf shirts or,
Yeah.
something that,
Golf shirts might be nice.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
you're gonna get them right down the end of the street.
I was just.
I know,
I think Joe got the T-shirts. last
Yeah.
time, And that's where he got them. Is that right?
Did he?
I'm
Okay.
pretty sure that's where he got them.
Well, hopefully we'll see him here at the next meeting.
Okay,
As soon as spring comes.
Yeah, he'll be up here in April. I think.
yeah, he usually comes back in April. Okay, all right, so that's a possibility there. Okay. We talked some time ago about a newsletter. I put a newsletter together. We never got around to discussing it. How's everybody feeling about that newsletter? And is it too late or is it never too late to get that out?
Oh, yeah, I think I printed the early one and then I was reviewing the other one.
And really, the only way we're gonna get that out is through the town website, I think. I mean, it's several pages. So it's not anything I want to print. And it was a compilation of information. It was a Q&A format, you recall seeing that. And then some statistics at the back end. These were 2022. Do we have the 2023 statistics?
I do believe we do, yes.
Okay, so if I could get those, we could update that. Okay. Does anybody have any objections to getting that newsletter out? So we just go on the town website.
I will review what I have on my computer and if there's anything pertinent, I will.
Let me
forward that to
know,
you.
okay.
Thanks.
Imogene, you've got a college student on the call. You might have some good suggestions for getting that out, how to reach the younger groups.
Okay,
Just a thought.
yeah, Michael, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, we're talking about a newsletter that I put together. It talks about recycling and the trash report for the town. And it's a Q&A type of thing, you know, like who can use the recycling center and why you have to pay for a sticker and who can get a sticker, all that. And why do we separate things? And we were just talking about how to get this information out to the public. We don't want to print it because it's multiple page and most people wouldn't take the time to read it. So we were thinking about putting it on the town website. We could also post on Facebook, directing them to the town website. As a college student, do you have have you found effective ways to transmit information like this to your fellow students or to the general public?
Yeah, not a lot of people my age use Facebook anymore. Twitter is a bigger platform probably for that type of thing. But I would say with what you're describing, like the Q&A format, I know with social media, the type of reading that people do now is so much shorter and much smaller bits. So if you could break down like the like the really big items into smaller and more digestible little bits, I think that would be very helpful. I think it would be. I just know from my own experience with all my buddies in college, like if we see this huge block of text online, like we're probably not going to read it. I'm just going to be honest with you. So
Okay, okay.
I think those are my thoughts on that.
Okay, great. That's very helpful. You know, I think what I could probably do is break this into separate postings and say, you know, why do we separate the recyclables here in Kingston?
Do it by topic.
You know, and just put that out as a one-time thing. And then do we get any money for items that are recycled? Put that out as a separate item.
You do a series over a period of time.
Right.
4 or 5 weeks or
Right.
6 weeks, 2 months.
Now, does anybody have a Twitter account?
Nope.
No.
You don't have one?
No. You know, I guess I need to learn more about Twitter. I've always considered Twitter and TikTok and just kind of more performance based as opposed to information based.
Maybe that's the way to get the information out.
I don't know. Michael, can you help me with this? Do you find that Twitter does contain useful information, or is it more performance based site?
Twitter's changed so much recently. I think it used to be a place for useful information. I think it's kind of been as regulations for who's allowed to post what have been peeled back. I think it's gotten a little worse, but I just know in terms of usership, like that's where you're going to find more people my age.
Okay.
I mean, people like I still have a Facebook. I use it. Maybe I check it like once a week, but like I'm on Twitter pretty much every day.
Okay.
Does Twitter still have a size limitation on posts?
Yeah, I think it's 280 characters.
Okay. That's
So,
good to know.
Yeah, one of the things that I think is really different in the beginning, the Library of Congress was archiving all Twitter posts until it sort of blew up into here's my supper tonight and all that other kind of useless information. I think you're right. Initially, it was, worth archiving by the Library of Congress, and then it turned into something else. But I do know there was the limitation in size.
Okay. All right. Well, let me look into that.
Why? You have a Twitter account?
I have a Twitter account.
You know,
I don't do anything with it.
Did the town get one?
Yeah.
No, the town doesn't even have a Facebook page.
Perfect.
you know?
Well, it's just, who's gonna be the point person?
Yeah, we don't have anyone to maintain our website, let alone Facebook or Twitter or anything else. Yeah, there's no IT person here that maintains any of that.
Jess. What's her last name? She works at Mass Recycle now. You might want to think about doing that, getting some posts out through her. Jess,
Wozniak?
Wozniak, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, she's actually a good resource because she does, I think she's up to like 15 or 20 municipalities. She handles all their Facebook and Twitters and all that stuff. She does
really?
wonderful posts.
Now, what is her position?
She is, I don't know, she's high up at Mass Recycle, but she also does.
Okay,
the
Mass
posting stuff.
Recycle is that part of the state or is that
It's funded by DEP.
it is
It's
funded by?
partially funded by DEP.
Okay,
The other half is funded by membership dues.
okay.
Um,
Do we have to be a member?
no, because she works separately too outside. of that.
Okay,
So
okay,
her own business was supplying towns with help on how to do postings through social media. To get
okay,
messages out there for solid waste and recycling. She would be a great resource to get this stuff out and put her in charge of all the postings. And then she's got all the keys for it.
Can we use some DEP money to pay her?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you can use funds for that.
so,
That's education. That's outreach and education.
Right.
okay, so she charges for this service? Okay,
And it's not an arm and a leg. I mean, we're just talking small money. So. I mean,
Okay.
You literally contract with her for probably $200 a month and she'll take care of everything or something like that. Maybe less. I don't know what her rate is. I've
Okay.
never talked to her about that.
all right, well, let me, see, this is why we love having you,
So-
because this is a resource we're not aware of,
Yeah, I just thought of it too. I'm like, if we're trying to reach people like Michael,
right?
she's also in that bracket where she's very familiar with those social media platforms that none of us use because we're well over 45. So.
Speak for yourself.
Almost
Wait, what are you talking about, Todd?
Well, you guys are younger than I am, but I'm.
Well, this is true.
Lottery gets you everywhere.
I just have the mindset of a 13-year-old.
We won't comment on that.
Because it's true.
All right,
Can we talk to Michael a little bit more?
go right
So
for it.
Michael, Facebook isn't that important. Twitter is where you go. What about all these other ones? Like who's reading and what for? Instagram or Snapchat or any of those?
Instagram is more like image based. So if you have useful images or graphics, that's definitely a place that you could, like Instagram, I also check as frequently as I check Twitter. So that's one that we use as much, but I wasn't sure whether or not you guys had, like, you need an image to post on Twitter, or on Instagram. I'm sorry, I misspoke.
Okay, right.
So you want to promote the food waste.
And then Snapchat's not really necessarily a place for like sharing information like this. It's more of a like a one-to-one messaging kind of
Okay.
app. Other than that, yeah, I wouldn't even say I wouldn't say Facebook's not important. Like people definitely still use it. I think I might have gotten ahead of myself there. I think it's definitely better than nothing. I'll say that for sure.
Okay.
But I would say Twitter is a little bit more used. Facebook is still good. And
We can make videos of it on TikTok
You could. That'd be
yeah,
great.
you could.
till they
You
ban. it.
could.
Instagram is good for education, because I see a lot of stuff on there that people speak in great detail to particular subject matter.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because you can do short videos, do video clips of someone dumping into the compost bin or,
Into the glass bin.
the glass bin. I mean, you could do. all
Large
kinds
of
little,
plastics.
Hey, this is what you do with your stuff. Boom, throw it in
Yeah.
a 10-second video or 5-second video.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we need someone who's really into doing short videos.
It is a phone.
Hey, and how much is
Have the residents do
YouTube
it.
part of your curriculum for college?
Like YouTube itself, not much, but like videos, yes, like a lot. Just not necessarily posted on YouTube. Like my professors will send like recordings of lectures, especially I remember like before COVID and everything was in person, but now with the pandemic, It's much more flexible in terms of like sometimes class will just be a video that the professor records of themselves and then posts it on the class website or the course website. But sometimes sometimes the professors have their YouTube channel that they post all of their lessons to. Sometimes it's just the video file itself that gets sent to us. But video itself has become a huge, huge, huge part of education.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Thank you for your insight.
Okay, I don't really have any new information on our private hauler regulations. All I can say is the last time I looked at the Board of Health regulations, it was missing again. It was missing and the farm animal regulations were missing again. In other words, I get the sense that something happened with the town website and it reverted to a previous version. I have brought it to the attention of the health agent, but it hasn't been updated. So I will follow up on that. And I think what we had talked about before was enforcement. We haven't gotten anywhere on that. I honestly haven't focused on that. Because we were hoping that the state would offer some sort of grant for that, but not happening. I did propose it to South Shore Recycling. I don't know where it's going on with that. We do have a South Shore Recycling meeting coming up April 3rd, next week.
Next Wednesday.
Yep. And it will be at Hanover Town Hall. There is a Zoom option available. And the speaker there will be Hand Up Mattress Recycling. So the agenda is going to include the RDP, SMRP grant preparation, household waste contract extender rebid. So if any of you are interested in attending either in person or via Zoom, that is next Wednesday at 9:00. And as soon as I get the full agenda, I'll send it out to everybody. Okay. And if anyone is interested in serving on the SSRC, Paul has announced his service will be up the end of June.
I do believe it's gonna be in June.
Okay. I'm hoping someone else will step up to be secretary. I've done it ever since you stepped down, Jean. It's been 5, 6 years. I enjoy the meetings. I learn an awful lot at the meetings. We learn about all the different vendors that are out there. We hear some of the issues that are going on, at in other communities. So I'm hesitant to step down, but I still want to stay involved. And I'm not sure who's going to step up to be the new chairperson. I feel very strongly it needs to be someone who's a DPW director. And I realize that they have, a lot on their minds as DPW directors, but I think it's going to be someone who's connected to all the other communities and other DPW directors. Because I was asked if I would do it. I said, no, I'm the wrong person,
We've got some new DPW directors in my district, so you've got,
Okay.
Me too.
Plymouth's got one that's very active.
Duxbury.
Duxbury's got one that's very active.
Yeah, but they haven't been attending on a regular basis.
No, Hanson is
They will
Board
be.
of Health.
They will be? Okay, good. I think it's essential that it be a DPW director. I really think they've got the connections and the knowledge to be the chair of that.
Right, all we're trying to do is get, like Gene said, getting new people involved. I used to be the treasurer, and the vice chair now for 5 or 6 years. And we discussed this at the SSRC meetings about how do we get other members active into doing this. So usually, I mean, the best way to do is guilt. We don't have, that's why I'm being where I am, but.
Let's go back to Michael here. Michael, so we have people that have been serving in roles for 5 years, which would be right before COVID. Then I don't know what was happening with buying recycled products at that point, but then COVID changed everything. So you're interested, what's happening with, college age kids and they're looking at recycling and the role and the purpose and all of that. And how do we find people, like you, who want to step up and start taking responsibility in some of these committees and different things like that?
I think there are so many. I think my generation of people are very, they have so many activist mindsets. And I think, I don't know if it's allowed. Like, I know when I was in high school, I felt the same way. Like, I wanted to, make changes. And I don't know if that's like allowed. Obviously, you don't want like a 16-year-old in charge of things, but I think getting them involved would definitely create this pathway where younger people can get involved earlier in local politics, local government, and recycling. And it also you can always use the incentive that it looks good on a resume or an application. But I don't know. I don't know necessarily how to find them, but I know they're out there, like people who want to be involved. I know I would have had like I did similar things like where I grew up, and like I have friends in college that I know we do stuff with the college and everything. So
Okay, maybe time of meeting, we have to be after school to get a different audience.
Maybe,
Could be.
maybe.
The rotate the meetings,
Mhm.
some release.
Okay, all right. The reason,
Thanks.
the reason I brought up the private hauler regulation, I just found the material, is that some time ago, Todd had emailed me and mentioned that there were new hauler regs that had been updated since ours was passed. And he sent that to me, said, and perhaps we would want to take a look at our private hauler regulations and see how they compare to what the state is recommending. So is there any interest in doing that at a future meeting?
Making ours meld with what the normal state ones are.
Updated perhaps to look at what the state is suggesting and compare that to our current and see if we feel a need to update ours.
Would it be useful to have the health agent involved in that, since that's where enforcement comes from?
Probably. Yeah.
Well, that and the health board is the ones that usually enact the regulations. Once Joe's back, it'd be a lot easier to discuss this with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the board, he's the chairman of the board of health.
Yep.
But I mean, these Holland regulations here, and I do it once in a while, go on social media, I don't write anything, but I read. There was people on Plymouth last week complaining that these private haulers are not offering recycling. And nobody stopped them. Nobody.
Yeah, there's no enforcement.
There's no enforcement.
Yeah.
Right, so
And I
even if
think
we make
so-
ours work, it doesn't matter.
unless there's enforcement.
Right, if there's buy-in from those that have to be overseeing it.
If you'll recall, the last time we did the hauler regulations, we did all the work.
Yep.
And we just handed it over.
And I think that we should do that again, rather than rely on the Board of Health to come up with it.
Well, I think what we could do is come up with a proposal.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Offer to them.
Yeah.
They can reject it and accept it and refund.
Right. But during that process of updating, keep Joyce and Joe in the loop as to what we're
I mean,
doing.
enforcement is, we talked about enforcement too. There's nothing in the budget for enforcement. but
No.
Again, I offered to just do it on a spot situation, not a confrontational way, but just
Right.
identify those trash haulers that are not separating the trash. And I can tell you right now, and you probably know it as well, is that it ain't happening.
No, I see a lot of trucks coming through that are just single collections. They're not dual trucks. That doesn't mean they're not sending a second truck through, but it concerns me when
You
I
don't see too many barrels out there for recycling.
well,
I don't.
okay.
I
Again,
see
I
the
don't know
lower
if they,
bins, but I don't know what happens when they get picked up.
yeah, and I don't know if they have if they have separate pickup dates for material. I don't really know that.
They don't in my neighborhood.
Okay. All right, so it really is an issue that needs some development. And I will bring it up to Claire again, to see if there's an appetite there for a few towns to go together, to have someone. I had a side question for you, Paul. I know we have recycle bins in all the town buildings, and your guys collect them. Is that material then separated at the transfer station? Because,
Yeah, usually it's plastics go with the plastics.
okay, so they do
They-
separate the material. Okay, because I was asked that by someone, what happens with where there's just one bin and paper and plastic go in together? Are they separated
Almost every area in every building has separate
containers?
containers for plastic, paper, and then regular trash.
Okay, all right, okay. Okay, so do we want to travel down the private hauler path again?
I think so.
Well, we should get the new regulation
I
and see how
have
they compare.
Yep.
And, but I think we should wait till Joe comes back
Mhm.
before we do anything. Without the Board of Health's buy-in, we're just kind of wasting time,
Well,
in my opinion.
what they did before was just sign off on it, because then they didn't have to do any work. That's what we found with the animal regs. They
Mhm.
didn't want to do any of the work. They just wanted us to finish it and give it to them,
Right,
you
Yeah.
know? So, okay, so I will put this on maybe the May agenda.
What we did before with Julie,
Yeah.
like multiple towns hired her to do the enforcement
Well, that's
part,
what I was
or
just talking about.
education
So that started with a grant from DEP.
Yeah,
And they got, SSRC got the grant to hire someone. DEP basically funded almost the whole thing, with exception of 25%, I think.
Yeah.
That was the match. But that went away after Julie. It was probably 3 or 4 years after that. I mean, I want to say it was back 2018, I think it went away,
Yeah.
2019.
yeah.
And it hasn't been brought back because the
Well,
towns have plenty of money in RDP to pay for someone. They really do. You go through the
Right.
list, it's-
right. And that's why I was hoping that maybe
No, you guys.
South Shore Recycling would coordinate that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Even if everyone could pitch 5 or 6 grand in and have someone out there,
But Julie was doing it for curbside, the residents.
right.
That's not the issue. The issue is residents are bringing their recyclables and their trash out, and the haulers are putting it in one truck and dumping it. DEP needs to put bodies and eyes at Siemens and say, gentlemen, no more.
they do that.
They don't do that. Because if they did, they know that most of the vendors in Kingston don't offer recycling. There's nobody down in CMS stopping the trucks after they drop it on the floor. And if it was enforced down that end of town, then maybe the Board of Health would enforce it on this end of town. But to have Joyce go out and say, this vendor, you're not offering recycling. Well, we are. Well, CMAS is recycling. We just go. with the
No,
same
CMAS is not
It's
recycling.
not.
They don't.
Yeah,
So so the state did hire another waste man enforcement officer. So now I think there'll be 5. They
okay.
got 5 people going all the way across the state. So that's an issue. They
Well,
can't
how
be
many,
everywhere at
how
once.
many facilities are there where trash companies can dump their material?
There's a number of them. It's more than 5.
More than 5.
On any given day, they're not out every day that I'm aware of. I don't know how that side of the business runs because I have nothing to do with it. But I do know when they go out, they come back, then they have to file paperwork. And then
Sure.
letters get created and authorized and then sent out. I did have a hauler in my district that was recently sent a very, very nice letter saying you need to recycle. By nice, I'm being sarcastic. I don't know who it went to, but I just know it went out. So they are out there
Yeah.
actively looking.
Is there a site on DEP's website that has reports on what the enforcement officers?
Yeah, I believe there is. I think they do post that stuff, but I haven't seen it in a while. Though I think they do post the enforcement when it does happen. I don't think it goes into much detail, but I do know there's something up there. It's some, there was.
Well, it'd be
something.
nice to know, how active they are and what they're finding.
Well, I know they're active. I mean, we've got another enforcement officer, so it's.
Okay, all right, I'll see if I can.
It's too bad there wasn't a level where they could certify haulers. And if you lose your certificate, you're
I know,
decertified,
and
that they would say,
So.
and here in these brackets, you've got the ones who follow the rules and you've got the ones who don't, and
Yeah, and you've spent enough time in California, California is very strict on the homes. For me, coming from California, moving here and learning.
Where
that
it's too loosey-goosey.
DEP has a loud bark but no bite,
Mm.
per se. And so we're in California, if you violate the waistband laws there, you start with $1 million fine and it goes up from there. Walmart, one location was fined 5 million for one violation.
Ooh,
One violation, that was pouring concrete washout on the ground without having containment. And it wasn't even that much, it was 50 gallons or something. But that was a $5 million violation. So me coming out here, when I first got here, I'm like, we shouldn't be sending him letters, we're not sending him fines.
yeah, so no
Um,
teeth, there's really no teeth in it.
But the fines are also a lot.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying.
$500 and $1,000 to a private hauler.
there's nothing,
Yeah.
can't change.
They
just
walk
you
around
get-
with $2,500 of cash in the pocket all the times. I know that because I used to be a private. I mean, that was nothing. I mean, here you go. I'll get on my back.
Yeah.
So I've been working with, for years. I think I probably got in trouble for barking a little too loud to my own previous boss. That we need to push harder, we need to have some sort of a fight. It was like, nope, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
They
not
try to act
allowed.
as kind of an intermediary and putting the pieces together as opposed to. But the other side of this is I don't work on enforcement either. That's a whole nother division. That gives out zero.
Right.
So I have nothing to do whatsoever.
Yeah, so who's
But-
really running the recycling program in Massachusetts? Sounds like it's more the haulers.
The haulers are, I mean, it's private industry that's running the DEP
Yeah.
oversight, but
Yeah, but whatever site, it sounds more like compliance.
there are, I mean, I think they should have a hard fight. I think that was kind of the plan moving forward, but
That's something Maura would take up with her different branches that she's put out there with the environment
Yeah.
and everything. It's too bad that we can't bump it up that high.
my recommendation, my suggestion would be the state doesn't do anything until the towns and cities get involved and they start complaining. So my recommendation would be go to Claire, get the group together, and then individually send a letter to our state saying, this crap out, you guys need to have a bite. Start finding these idiots because it's hurting us.
It's hurting everyone. Yeah, it
You know,
is.
and
And they're
it's-
making money hand over fist because they're not complying with what
So.
needs to be done
So,
correctly.
we're asking for the state's help on this enforcement. We're asking for you to start being harder on these private haulers
Well, just to enforce your regulations,
and enforce regulations.
right? They're already on the books, so
That's something that the municipalities really have to do because nothing moves under my recommendation of the state.
Mhm.
It's like they don't listen to me. They listen to you guys. So you guys need to be the ones to raise your voice.
Okay,
And it works. It does. They do hear you. It doesn't always, go in the way you want it to, but they do listen. So.
But that's the only way we're gonna bump it back to, I forget what the term was that was on this recent legislation. I don't know if it stayed in, but when companies overpack
Mhm.
their products so that when you open it up, you have like, here's the product, and then you have this pile of waste. And now you send it over to the hauler people who say, yeah, no problem, instead of saying, oh, that exceeds your limit. So then we start bumping it back because, but there's no feed to that if recycling isn't even enforced to then bump it back so that we don't have to have excessive packaging and excessive waste to everything.
So, and this is a battle I will definitely join in with you on because I do think things need to change. Personally, I'm gonna take my deep in. Personally, I think the state needs to change and they need to start going after these people. They really do. And they need to go after it a hard way. And if I can offer up my support somehow and do it,
okay.
can't have my title involved at all. On the other hand, I can also work in the background too, where it doesn't get out there.
Right, right.
But I would love to see things change. Absolutely, I think they need to change. So, coming from California, which is, they were strict as hell on us, and I was a private hauler, and I agreed with them
Mhm.
because the other ones weren't doing what they were supposed
Right.
to do. I always did what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I agree with
So
it.
I'll ask Claire, she's willing to put this on the May agenda.
Mhm.
You know, she's probably got her agenda set for next week, but on the May
Good
agenda
idea.
for a robust discussion at SSRC
Yeah.
about this.
That's
Okay.
for the local level. Okay, I think there's 8 halls in the town of Kingston.
Mhm.
So Hall of B doesn't recycle. So you want the local board of health to go after Hall of B,
Right?
who might have 75 or 100 customers in the town.
Mhm.
Now, these people are, I can't pick my trash up now.
Well, they
So-
have to get a hauler that actually complies.
Yeah.
That's.
I mean,
that's where the-
Well, or you keep finding this hauler. I mean, that's sort of where the certification level comes.
Well, they're
So
not supposed to get relicensed.
Yeah.
if they break it,
Right,
Through here, they're not supposed to be allowed in the town.
right,
right,
but even if under that license, they violate.
Right.
They get fined. Maybe they choose not to re-up at the next time. We're not gonna offer it to them anyways. So they have to tell their customers, well, come January, when we re-up on our
It's April.
contracts, we're pulling out because we don't
That's
follow the
fine.
rules.
That's fine.
So they all go looking then. It's not like next week we don't have a hauler anymore.
Or the town says your hauler has been banned from this and
Right.
you can, you're
You
gonna,
can
you're gonna
find
take
a
that
new
down.
hauler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
And
other.
by the way, here's what a transfer station is.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I was looking at social media yesterday. And they were saying a curbside pickup is around $200 a quarter.
Oh, easily.
So that, and all I know is Silver Lake High School math, that's $800 a year.
Yep.
Where our transfer stations take us $240.
But then they don't have to,
Oh, I
It's
understand.
They don't have to-
convenience. There's a
they don't have
convenience.
to
It is.
haul it, you know?
Americans traditionally
convenience.
since about the sixties have become very lazy,
Yes.
very lazy. They want to be able to just take whatever they generate and put it at the curb and it just goes away.
And complain
They
about it.
don't want
They can
to,
complain about it.
they don't want to
you
know where it goes or what gets done with it. They just want
As
it.
long
to
as it's
go
out of
away.
their house.
We got one.
That's just not the curbside, that's also at our transfer station.
It's the same thing, but it's just,
Yeah.
it's an American value that somehow
It
got
is.
ingrained into us right around the 1960s. And I remember when this, I wasn't alive then, but I've heard stories about that too, but I've seen it progress. And it's gotten worse, it
Yeah.
hasn't gotten better.
It has got worse, because right now, if I
So,
went to the
I
town
mean,
meeting and
it's-
said, I needed $1 million to reconfigure the transfer station to make it easier to recycle, I probably would not have got the vote I got
No,
that year.
you wouldn't.
You would-
Yeah.
no.
Just stop recycling these.
Run.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm really hoping this new generation, and that maybe we consider moving the meeting, because we don't have any work. I mean, we're all retired essentially, or we can work our own, I'm
Right.
working on my own schedule.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a downside to that. We probably wouldn't get pollen talk at our meeting.
I would come for, I would
Well,
like-
not as
the jobs.
consistently, probably. I mean,
I mean, it can
your
be,
day is over. Why should you put in, extra hours?
because he
for
loves
one
us so
little-
much,
thought.
but
That's
I'm
tough.
saying, it can be 3:30. That would get a whole bunch of teachers, and it would get a whole bunch of,
I'm not sure.
I
I'm not
think,
sure.
yeah, and the other thing I really think of, and Michael's on here too, but I really think the younger people need to get more involved. The rest of us, we're not getting any younger. We're gonna
No.
start fading out. I've got a lot of people who are retiring soon in my district that I'm really not looking forward to, but if we can get some younger people in and excited and starting to be activists about this, I think the tide will turn. We need the youth factor. We need that excitement and fire behind it.
and creativity,
And
and
creativity,
use of social media.
Yeah.
the creativity too, because they know a lot more than we do about what's happening now. We knew then.
Right.
In the
And
old
that's-
days, it used to be.
I remember MySpace for Pete's sake.
Right,
And that
and that's
was,
what I think what Jean and David and Vanessa are doing at the schools is so essential.
Yeah.
To really get the thought process going about what's my role here in recycling. Excuse me, and from that,
Imagine having someone closer to their age group with excitement going in there, what the impact. that would have, As opposed to someone of our generation, which,
I agree.
it's a much more impact, it's much more impact if you get someone that they can relate to
Right.
that goes in.
Yeah.
And that's just,
Yeah.
it's kind of the power of that stuff. They look at someone as, wow, they're close to my age, they understand this stuff.
Right.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
But if it's us, it's like your parents.
Right.
Or grandparents.
Or grandparents,
It's like, we
okay.
don't want to hear it, so.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's
Okay,
in all areas. I mean, sort of politics is going through the same thing too. I mean, we're gonna vote for 80-year-old people to run. And I just think, what happened to mentorship? What happened to, we need to not appoint 45-year-olds to Supreme Court justice for a life appointment, whatever, but you know, why don't we have some 40-year-old running for president?
Like JFK's, yeah. We
Yeah.
need some more JFK's.
Yeah, that was
Just a younger group.
Yeah, that and Obama, I mean,
They did.
they were younger.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ramaswamy.
all right. In the interest of moving this along, I think it's a great discussion.
No, we gotta move on. 'cause
Thank
There's gonna
you.
be a third part
Okay,
tomorrow.
so on the listserv, that's Recycle Mass, there was a notice that EPA has published new household medication disposal website. This was launched on February 26th. Information on how to dispose of leftover medications, including pharmaceutical take-back programs. We're fortunate here in Kingston. You just take it to the police station.
And what do you do, hand
great.
it to them, or are there bins there?
There's a
or-
bin
They
there.
have a bin, yeah.
It's a locking bin. You just drop it in the slot and that's it.
I'm pretty sure I saw one of those things inside of CVS the other day.
They have them there too.
They have them at the
That's a new
entrance to
program.
the hospital, they have them all over the place, but
That's a new
so
program.
do they do
Yeah.
syringes too? Because some malls have
I
the
got you.
syringe ones. Cape
No.
Cod Mall had it in the bathroom, so if one had to do insulin or something, they could
I
just.
think the fire department
On
has,
27, I
Cape Cod Mall
think they
had
do.
Cape Cod Mall has, I don't
I
know,
never use the bathrooms there, so I don't know, but I need
Yeah.
to check that out. I know they had.
yeah, Cape Cod Mall, and
Really?
at least in the women's room, would have a place for disposing syringes, so if you
I'm
had
sure
to
it's
do
for insulin.
insulin.
Yeah.
That might be for other.
Yeah, not heroin, not
Someone actually OD'd in that bathroom recently, so the one
Yeah.
over by Five Guys.
Ozempic.
but
But
yeah,
whatever they are, I mean, you find them on the ground, you have a place to throw them away instead of putting them in a regular trash bin or
There's a
something.
picture.
yeah, so I know the police, I'm pretty sure the fire station has a place for you to dispose of them.
Shops.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, and then also there's been a lot on listserv about e-cigarettes and the fact that they contain a lithium ion battery, which as we know is a bad item. But not all of the e-cigarettes apparently are able to be taken apart. And if there's any residual tobacco in there, that's also a different kind of contaminant. So if you're not able to easily separate the cartridge, which would have the tobacco in it from the battery, what do you do with this item? Because the two of them cannot be recycled together. So what happens? A lot of them go in the trash because they can't be separated. And who's going to take the time to separate them? So there was a lot of back and forth. EPA has a new fact sheet out on this, but reading through the listserv, you know, I'm not familiar with the products, but apparently they're made very differently, you know. And so they present some issues on how to recycle them.
I wonder if getting them to point of sale, like Brennan Smoke Shop or the vape stores and whatever,
Yeah,
to get those people educated to at least, oh, when you dispose of this, you have to do whatever, you know, because I'm sure it's not just like lottery tickets. You don't think so?
Some of the vape stores have now started collecting them to be recycled properly. There's a chain on the Cape, I believe, that started that recently.
That would be great if they would get a
And
5 cent
so
deposit
if
to
you
bring it
if you
back.
Bring your vape back, because obviously you're gonna get another one, so you want to bring this back, and then they have.
Should pay a deposit on them and then you would bring them back.
It would be pretty cool to put a deposit on there. Yeah.
but is there?
No,
There's not at the
no,
moment.
nobody's gotten that far ahead.
Yeah,
That's
that would require legislation, right?
most likely, yeah.
Sort of,
Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt your flow there, but at the entrance inside of the lobby part of Ocean State, they had been. What did it say? Here, so recycle beyond the bag, recycle your household bags and wrap into Trex earth-friendly
Yeah.
Yeah, so from the store, from your pantry and from your front door, they'll take all of those
Yep.
things.
Yep, so
And
to
so
stop
that's-
any,
Well, they have that big white bin, but it doesn't have information on it. And sometimes when I go to put my bags in, people have thrown all their non-recyclable plastic bottles in them. And so anyways, I
Okay.
just thought this was a nice, like,
okay,
again, no pictures, but it's got words, but not too many words, you know, it's sort of like
Right.
done nicely.
okay.
Because
Because the state of Massachusetts requires that any retail place that has plastic bags is also supposed to have a recycle bin for those plastic bags. So all the grocery stores have them. I believe Target has them. like you say, Ocean's 8, Walmart, they all have to have them. So that you can put any kind of plastic bag.
But it's
back in
interesting
there.
because, Ocean State, at least in Kingston, doesn't have any plastic bags.
No, they don't.
But that it was there and then it would take, I mean, I just think Amazon's gotta start doing something with their waste, way that stuff comes through everywhere.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
But anyways, I think, yeah, to put out, here's where you can take meds and sharps, and here's where you can do like the other things that you're listing. Because I didn't know about the sharps at the fire department and I didn't know about the meds in the front. What did I know about? Yeah, I guess I knew disposing meds at the police station, but just to give people where you can go to do these different things.
Why don't I put something together and we can have that put on the town website?
I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Because that's the kind of information that people can go, oh, you know what? These aspirins are expired. What am I gonna do with them? Put them down the toilet. That's what our grandparents did. No, don't do that anymore. Huh?
That's what's beautiful, dog.
But not mixing it with words.
That works
My
too.
concern was they're gonna put it in with the food waste. And at the time, this was going back 5 or 8 years ago, the food waste was gonna go to a farm, they're gonna put it in the dirt, and then in the springtime, they're gonna plant the seeds. Now, I don't know what old medication does to plants, but
No, it can't go in there.
well, that, when they first started this process about food
Okay.
waste, let's throw the old medications in there.
Okay, but that's now prohibited.
Right.
Strongly prohibited. Okay,
That doesn't mean they don't do it.
Right.
That's
and-
right.
and
That's
that's-
latex paint in the
Super
driveway.
yes. Okay, so swap shops. Let's talk swap shop a little bit. Last time we met.
Wait, we didn't do the library one. Oh, we're still up above.
Oh, I've still got a million things to go and I gotta leave here by 11.
The
So,
swap shop, you're down under 9 and we didn't get 6.
okay, what's 6?
6 was the Kingston Public Library Summer. Reading
Okay,
Theme.
so
It's
that's right
recycling
here.
and conservation.
Okay, so I got an email from the library director. I was telling him about the reduce, reuse, repair, micro grants, particularly for library things. We've helped fund several things of library things, and I've constantly made him aware that we do have funding available should they need it, but I also wanted to let him know that they're the grant, they could apply directly. He said, thank you. I'll be reaching out to you after meeting with my staff. Now, this was February 14th, just to discuss summer programming. The theme for summer reading this year is recycling and conservation. I'm sure we can come up with something for great programming with the various community groups. So I'm waiting to hear back. I can follow up with him to see where they are and how we can participate.
I don't know if they just picked this, but oftentimes the Board of Library Commissioners picks a theme and then the libraries all pick up on it. If that's the case, you're gonna have this in every single one of your towns, which would be really great to kind of build on the cooperation and collaboration, and
You mean library things?
no, the summer reading program.
sorry,
for
that's
the whole
Recycling
summer
and
being.
conservation. Yeah, I wonder if that is statewide.
Well, I can try and look it up.
Can
I
you-
hate looking shit.
Well, can you look that up later and
I'll
see?
keep talking, I'll just check it.
Okay,
Sorry,
um,
my notes sync.
okay, so that's that. I'm not trying to skip over anything. I'm just going down through my pile here. Okay, so I already told you about the native plant sale, rain barrel sale. I mentioned before to you that they seem to want to just sell the town pallet of rain barrels and let us handle the sales from there. I'm not sure if that's something we want to get into right now. Paul, how do you
What's a
feel about
pallet,
having a couple
12?
pallets of rain barrels? sitting around?
What's a pound, 12 or 9 or?
I think it was 6, 4 or 6.
Yeah, I really don't have a lot of room for storage of
Well, that's what
land
I'm
there.
thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something we could offer at any time. We usually think about it in the spring.
Right, I
But-
don't want to overlap the sticker sales.
No. I think this might be a future program.
When's the next water bill? That's a good time to put them up.
Well, I know they do on April 8th, so
Yeah, so then in August, people will go, oh, well, I need to finish it, but then it just don't have.
No, they don't want to winter them.
right.
So the summer reading program is just Kingston.
Okay, all right. Okay. Okay, so back to Swap Shop. There is a grant that we can apply for this time. Goes up to $6,000 that we could qualify for. And Paul, you mentioned that there was going to be a webinar that's April 10th.
10 to 11:30, what they're offering this year.
10
That's
to
gonna go on the
11.
newsletter. I'm getting the newsletter up today. So
I okay, I'll wait till I get to.
And what is it on that grant?
The grant
Yes,
to
American
apply for funding for Swap Shop.
Smurf.
What was the time again?
April 10th from 10 to 11:30.
Now, they're going to be talking about all the grants, right? Not just,
In an hour and a half, they're gonna go through as much as they can. It's probably gonna be the major changes. If they're not major changes, they'll probably go through the changes, anything new.
yeah, there's 9 in
You can
here.
ask questions too, so.
Yeah, there's 9 in here.
So there's a shed behind Kingston Elementary School by the loading dock. And I didn't have a tape measure, but I wondered how close that was to a 12 by 16. I'll try and get a measurement and send out. It just seemed small.
Oh, here we
That's what
go.
they're looking at.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. About as wide as this room. 2, 4, 6,
think
8,
that's- I
10,
don't
12,
I
14,
think this
16.
is more.
From here to there.
Yeah.
Each tile's 2 feet. So you're looking at probably right where Dave is.
Cut them in half.
No, we'll keep all thing.
Yeah.
It's.
Yeah,
Looks
so
like-
if we went with 12 by 18, it would be almost the size of this room.
Seems big on the
10,
inside.
12, 14,
Like I
16,
said, I'm gonna
18,
try and
20,
measure that
22.
one.
This room is approximately 24 feet, not longer.
Okay, so not as, and honestly, this would be awfully big. So, yeah. I
Yeah, but then
think-
you fill it with shelves, so all around it. would
And
be-
then you feel it with crap that somebody has to maintain.
That's a,
Vanessa, I'm telling you,
it's gonna be.
we've been down this road.
I know.
am Not maintaining a huge,
Yeah, I'm not going as big as him, but I just, like I said, when I looked at the outside of that shack, I thought, wow, I wonder how big that would be.
well, it's not gonna be this tall, obviously, you know, which,
For the drive-through.
It's like.
guys, don't start.
I
Don't
just found out one of my
start.
neighbors has ponds in their backyard. I'm like, dude. Gene. Let's take that.
There's one on Center Street. too.
Okay, well,
Yes, there is.
here's the follow-up to that. I had a rather useful conversation with Ken Stone from Plymouth last week. As you know, they're very much interested in putting together a recycling committee, reconstituting the recycling committee, which Todd is kind of shepherding
Actively
through.
pushing hard.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So he just wanted to know a little bit about our recycling committee. He's been to a couple of our meetings. He's on our email list, I think, so he gets our minutes, he sees what we're doing. I sent him a copy of our public health and sanitation mandatory recycling bylaw, which consists of 2 little skinny paragraphs, and I would like to revisit that. And I also sent him our recycling committee bylaw, which consists of 3 little tiny paragraphs. So for a future agenda, I would like to have a discussion about our bylaw on mandatory recycling. This one speaks only to people who use the transfer station, does not speak to the general residents. And I'm thinking that needs to change,
I would agree.
but it's too late to get it on the May. So, but I do think there's going to be a fall town meeting. Whether or not they would allow something like this in the fall, I don't know. But that would be my goal, is to revise this ever so gently to include all residents and get it on the town.
How about anybody within town limits? Businesses, institutions, schools, like just the recycling committee.
Can we do that with a bylaw?
I don't know. That's a legal question, but
Okay,
My thought on that would be, why just stop with residents? If you're gonna have a mandatory recycling on the books, like if you're looking at the state regulations, that covers all generators. Doesn't matter who you are, or if you have a business, if you've got a school, if it's an institution, if it's whatever it is. If you are a generator in the state, in this specific municipality, you have to recycle. So there is precedence set for that. I don't.
Well, that's
know
why I asked you if
how
there was a
effective
state requirement that we could just adopt. Or if we have to do our own
it is. As
bylaw.
far as the recycling committee kind of bylaw, no.
No, I'm talking about our
State
mandatory
regs.
recycling.
Well, yeah, there,
Yeah, there has to be,
There's-
because then they said no textiles, if that's a state
Right.
one.
there's the best practices that we put up for anybody to use, and you
Right.
can alter them as you like, but, no, there isn't like a requirement from the state that you have to use that.
No, but that there is a one we could sort of
Oh,
adapt and
yeah.
adopt, because there is a reg, because it says,
We
you
pay
know, no
good money-
textiles anymore.
We pay good money to create those, so yeah, that's the free to use for everybody.
Okay, can you direct me to that language?
Yeah, just do a Google search for Mass DEP, recycling regulations, trash regulations, it'll take you right to the page.
Yeah, I think I was looking at some of those,
Yeah.
but I was really focused on.
Just don't do the search on the DEP website, because people just do Google. It'll take you right there. And everyone knows, even the DEP knows, it's like, don't do it through the.
When they
website.
redid the state website, they made it so difficult to find anything.
Yeah, that was one of Brooke's pet peeves too.
I mean, any agency trying to find information is, and then it always has at the bottom, was this helpful? No, it was not helpful because I couldn't find anything
anything
on your
worse
website, is this, are you trying to keep us stupid? It's very
Everyone
frustrating.
knows it's terrible. We all do, and we
But
all
who's
talk.
working on it?
Nobody right now.
Nobody, right? Okay, so I'm. gonna
That's where
put
we
that-
gotta get the young people in too, because they just do it in their sleep.
Okay,
I have a comment about
sure.
when we go to town meeting,
Mhm.
just explain that we want to synchronize our own bylaw with the state to
Mhm.
update it
Mhm.
and make it more like a housekeeping thing than trying to sell them a bunch of goods for the goods.
I agree. Good. Okay, so in talking with Ken Stone, I guess, Todd, you facilitated a couple of meetings with DPW and the sustainability coordinator.
Mhm.
And I guess they're still looking for someone to oversee solid waste. That was Ken's take on it. So he said James Downey is now going to attend the SSRC meeting.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, he's the assistant. or-
And Ken confessed
Oh,
that he's never been to the Plymouth Recycling Center, so he's gonna do a.
Well, yeah, we were just down there last week
Okay,
on Tuesday or Wednesday, so we did a tour. I haven't been there since I first started, so. it was-
Do they have two, one at each site or just one?
They have one.
And that's in Manaman?
Beaver Dam Road, somewhere it is.
That's it. They shut down the other two, and I was part of the committee to save that one. So that was fun.
Or they were gonna make everybody,
They were gonna shut it down. They didn't have the budget.
make
We found
everybody
money.
do curbside?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, they were gonna go wash hands. and
Throw.
Huh?
Were they doing all pay as you throw at one time?
They
still have
They
pay as
still have
throw.
pay as you throw. They're still
Yeah.
pay as you throw for trash, but they went curbside through ABC. They had the issue with the recycling costs going up because of the Green Sword in China, and Michael Camaro went in there and said, "Hey, we got to raise your rates. You owe us another $1.5 million." And they went, "No, we're canceling." So they canceled the contract, canceled all the curbside, which they had a really nice portion of the town on that program. And so a majority of those people went to private haulers, a very small percentage went to the transfer station.
so who is required to do pay as you throw
Any resident bringing it into the transfer station.
into the transfer station, right? Not private haulers? Because Ken thought that they had done away with it completely.
No, they still pay as you throw there. They're already
Okay.
bags.
Okay, so if someone
Yellow.
as savvy as him doesn't realize it, then.
It said it right in the bins. We're standing there for 45 minutes
Okay.
talking in the cold wind.
All right, so then I mentioned to him about the swap shop, and he said he's been dealing with a Tina Rude in Falmouth.
I
That
don't know
she's
that.
affiliated with the swap shop. So he gave me her email. I've sent her an email saying I'd really like to come down and take a look at their swap shop. I saw Ken Saturday night at the Phil and,
Why go to Falmouth when you go to Halifax?
Hmm?
Go to Halifax.
I could do do
is-
Halifax. I just don't know anyone over there to
Sue, I'll
contact.
make the intro.
Okay,
Okay.
That would
But
be
you-
great.
You don't know Sue over there?
Sue,
Johnston?
no,
Okay, I'll make the introduction. That's easy. Yeah, no, it's 10 minutes down the road.
Who's the Falmouth contact again?
Tina Rood, ROOD.
That was a long way from here.
I know, but I go there every week.
Road trip.
Well,
Don't lie.
I got a baby there.
I live on the Cape and I don't go to.
Ken,
Okay,
Ken said he was going to go down there anyway, so I might
Yeah.
just ride with him. The other part that we were talking about with the swap shop was a couple of field trips to take a look at different types of sheds that might be available. I don't mention just one.
Well, you
I
guys
would
been-
imagine there's some others more local that we could take a look at. I don't think the big box stores really have what we're looking for. I think the construction is not sturdy enough to hold up for a long period of time. You know, if we create this, it has to be part of our legacy that it continues beyond whoever's serving right now. And to have a shabby little building that's gonna fall apart or require a lot of maintenance is not grant money well spent in my eyes. So I want to be sure that when we do invest in this, with or without a state grant, that it is it's going to continue for some time, have a longer life. So back to the grant, Paul, you said you were going to sit in on that webinar. I plan on sitting in on that webinar. Who generates that grant proposal? Okay.
He takes back lunch, right?
Okay. All right. So anything we can do to help with that, let me
Oh,
know.
yeah, let's see what the webinar tells us.
Okay. Is it going to be very complicated?
Never. No.
I think it's gonna be just like the Mercury shed that got we applied for. I mean, yeah, there you go.
I
Okay.
mean, the equipment grants part of it, so like the shed you're talking about. Basically asks you what you want, what you're applying for, you're gonna say swap shed, and then it goes down and asks for kind of a plan of action
Okay.
with dates. Doesn't mean you have to meet the dates, it just makes you think through the process.
Great, great.
So, step one, get quotes from sheds, step two.
Okay. So they're not going to have a required list of vendors.
No, but if you work off the OSD bid list, the state bid list, at least you're gonna get
Are there
decent
vendors
pricing.
for this on the state
I
bid
believe
list?
there are, yeah, I think because they're in like Parks and Rec or something. Last time I looked in there, I think they're in the parks because a lot of parks use, they need the shed vendors, but I think sheds are on the state bid list.
Okay. I don't have access to that.
Everyone has access to OSD.
We do?
Anyone can go on there. I wish I could buy them
OSD.
because some of the prices are good. Yeah, OSD is Operational Services Division. It's part of the state and they send out, it's like a bid for 2.5 million products.
Mhm.
And what that allows you to do, because you're not familiar with it. So states, if it's over like $5,000, you have to go up for an RFP, right? 10,000. I don't know, what is it now? 20? Okay, so they raised it. But if you go to the state bid list, they've already sent those out.
Right.
So you can actually purchase right off the list
Right,
without
directly.
waiting for RFP. For anything of like 2.5 million products, and there's hazardous waste on there, so you wouldn't have to go out for bid. There's trash haulers, there's containers, there's you name it. There's also, environmentally friendly products, which is another thing that we're starting to push a little bit harder. Cleaning supplies and all kinds of other
How
stuff.
easy is it to search? If there's over 2.5 million items, how easy is it to search?
Sometimes it's okay, other times it's tough.
Okay.
But we're actually going to be doing a training with Julia Wolf, and that's going to be in the newsletter too, the training dates
Okay.
for that, because it is important. We'd like to start doing that every single year. Have OSD do statewide training on how to use the state bid list, because it is a little complicated. You have to figure out which list they're part of, like which grouping of items it belongs to. That's a specific.
Be nice if they
number.
had a strong search engine.
Google. That's what I use, to be honest. I mean, Google will find it right
Okay.
away. So if I'm looking up, just say hazardous waste vendors on the state bid list, I'll do Mass OSD or state bid list for Mass. and then I'll do hazardous waste, and then boom, it'll come up with the stuff.
Okay.
You go to that page, but then you go to one section and that lists off the vendors,
Mhm.
what categories they're in, because there's like A through G, I think. So all of those are different categories. The hazardous waste doesn't just have to do with hazard, like household hazardous waste. Some might do with industrial hazardous waste, chemical hazardous waste.
Okay.
So then you got to figure out those ones, and those are little X in that box. And then you have to kind of go through further. And
Yeah,
then
I
that
think
gets
some
you to the
training
next
would
level.
be helpful,
It is, you need to be trained.
you
yeah.
know, so you can actually find what you're looking for.
Yeah, I know. It's a little tedious, but
Okay,
in the end, in the long run, it's actually a pretty good service that they offer. So,
okay.
and they'll do one-on-one training, they'll do group trainings, they'll do statewide
Mhm.
trainings. They're very happy to do that.
Okay,
So
Okay,
it is
great.
a good
Not
service.
always the cheapest price.
It's not always cheap.
no, I understand that. And that's why I would like to look for outside vendors, just to see
Yeah.
who's got a good product. Do you
Reed's-
have,
Reed's Ferry, that's,
They make a good show from what I hear.
who does?
Reed's
Reed's
Ferry,
Ferry.
Reed's Ferry.
but you're not gonna get
No,
a,
they're way too expensive.
well, because the quality's there.
Yeah.
It's not that fall apart.
Right.
Fall of particle board. I like that. That's a great,
That's in
Okay.
their ad.
is it? Yeah. Oh, I know. I'm still going.
Okay. All right, Paul, just a couple more things real quick. Last time I looked, there was nothing on the town website about the availability of the backyard compost bins. I had sent that to so is there anything on there? And which, is it under highway? You know, or is it, should it be under
It should be
recycle?
under, I thought it should be under transfer station.
Okay,
I can discuss this.
We still have them or?
Yeah, I know we have a couple, I know. She just got a form to order new ones and they went up in price.
but we still have to offer them for 25.
They went up again.
I think they did, yeah.
Which ones are they?
Just the ones she got is the ones that are rolled up, not the solid.
Yeah, the problem with those rolled up ones is you gotta find, those pins break that hold them.
Do they?
And then you can't find them anywhere. And so I ended up, I think I laid it down as a mulch bed or something, but
Okay.
I was sad to get rid of it, but I had asked around. The other thing is we need to connect with conservation because that was where I went to ask for more information about them before I knew that they would be under you and recycling for some reason. I
Yeah,
couldn't. But you know, it should be that all departments know where to route people for things like that.
yeah, so that was sent to Matt to make sure that,
But it's also
They
the
do.
staff that works down there. you know,
Yeah, for
when he's
him and
not
his
there to
staff.
talk to, right?
yeah. Okay. That needs to go to the,
She wants me to bring it over to the boys.
yeah,
Oh,
But I figured you could take them home if you
I don't
wanted
want them.
okay.
What
If-
are they, rooms?
Can we include a
Chocolate
small
pebbles
map
and-
of the recycle center
Where?
with the handout that you guys do?
Where am I now? 4 pages, 5, 4 pages.
Because I would also like to include the yellow sheet on the organic disposal that, you know, just as another handout. I will run them off. I
I
will,
mean, she can run them off, it's not a problem, it's just. You know, like Mike was saying, this is a lot of information now, we're going, it used to be 3 pages,
right,
double-sided.
but how do we get people aware of the organic collection? We're not getting the volume that we should be getting at this point.
Would it be cheaper to go to Sinorama and get a banner made? And put it behind the more information and put it on.
I think people need to have that yellow handout.
Most people do not read
We
those
do,
rules and
we do.
regulations.
Well, my kids don't want a piece of paper because they're gonna lose it. They just want that little code that you snap when you need it and then they don't care about it again.
But
Yeah,
we've got to make people aware of it. You know,
but I mean, when you say the banner, that's what I'm thinking. You put the QR, you know, for more information, here's the QR code.
We have to have a
But-
QR code. and
Yeah.
Those I think are easy to generate,
Very
and then you
easy.
have to maintain what's on the other
I
side.
am
that's
not a
great.
computer guy,
No,
yeah.
not at all.
Right.
But we have to make people aware of the program. We're not getting the numbers.
Well, you have to make them aware that you don't have to just have the bucket to do it. There are other ways to collect the stuff.
Yeah,
Get it
I
over
think,
there.
you know, I just don't know how to reach more people to get them to participate. And, you know, our goal is to pool 30% of that, of our trash out.
Talk to Jess Wozniak. So
Okay,
I think she can help with that. She'll do a bunch of videos, the short videos, and put them up online. TikTok, X, Twitter, whatever it is. I think that's probably one of the easiest ways to get that out. Hype it up.
We also need a bigger and better sign for where the barrels are.
that's it. I mean, that whole area needs to be revamped. We're gonna build a new solid corral. We're gonna get a new sign and we'll put up the gel, hand gel. But we still need to get people to participate,
I understand that, but
Right.
you know. I think them driving by on the way to their trash, they're not getting the message.
Because you really have to swerve out there.
You do.
And then there's not really like, what are you
When I walk
doing?
by.
There's no way to kind of catch that attention
Right,
either.
right. All right, I will include that in my conversation with Jess.
I like your idea of the map. I mean, and I do understand that we don't want to do too much paper. But, because it's sort of, this is where you take your 5-cent cans. This is where you put this.
yeah, but I don't know if each person needs to have this, or if we just have a map at the entrance.
Yeah, the
Will
entrance
people
is a long
see it?
ways. If you don't even stop at the recycling part, you're never gonna
Yeah,
get it.
That's true.
That's what I do when we go to Barnstable Dump. I just tell her.
You do?
Yeah, people like the main gatehouse. Everyone drives by.
Yeah, so
You know,
I don't
we
know
don't-
if there's value to this, or if we just put it on the town website.
Yeah, I think, to even spell out that they're, here's yard debris, here's organic, because then you sort of sort at home. I mean, in a way,
Right.
that's what this whole thing is kind of cool about, what you can put in and what you can't. I don't know how many people, like, I do have separate bins and it's a nuisance, this is
I
where I
do
put
too.
them commingle and here's where I put the paper and up the glass, which we
Yeah.
don't have a lot of, is downstairs and
One,
cardboard I'm putting over here and, it's a pain in the neck. But if oh, here's what I'm gonna do. Oh, there's a place for that. I'll keep that separate from all this other stuff and not put it in the.
I
big
packed
plastic trash
my
bag.
trunk according to, where I
Yeah, but
get
you had to have
ours.
already done stuff in the house, and this would help
True.
people to think about, what am I doing in the house so that I don't
Right.
put the things that don't go together, or they do go together, but I have
That's
to
a
remember
very,
to separate them.
very. Like, how do you get people in the home to separate it out to the point where?
They know
this
that these
stuff
are all
goes-
separate, like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't have to put that in the
It needs to
trash. There's a
start, you're right, it
place.
needs to start there and then get its way to the trash.
Okay,
I mean,
so
maybe
how how do we get this out?
A refrigerator magnet.
No, how do we get this out?
That's what I would look at.
Now, it's
Yeah.
a huge magnet.
It's a
We
big
should
thing.
just wait and talk to Jess.
Yeah,
and
talk to
ask
Jess.
her for suggestions.
Okay,
I would table this discussion and just get with Jess first, talk to her, see what her ideas and thoughts are. She's gonna be an expert in that. I'm not an expert,
okay.
so.
The issue is, like I said, I give out rules and regulations every year. Everybody that I give a sticker to gets the rules and regulations. I still have a percentage, and it's a high percentage of people go through there and dump it wherever the hell they want. They're not reading it.
Nobody reads.
I don't have enforcement up there because I'm not getting my guys in front of out the cage. This has been a the $10 question for about 10 or 15 years.
Look,
How
there's
do
the
we get
2011 memo from
information
you.
out?
And there's the.
Nobody reads.
2003
And I know,
memo.
especially if it's long and multiple pages.
And like that's what Michael
Just like
was saying
Michael said,
was
it needs to be short, sweet. to the
short and
point.
sweet.
So,
All right, we are past 11. I gotta go. I'm sure the rest of you do too.
I have a
very
quick
good
question,
meeting,
though. What
James.
are the
A very good
pages
meeting.
supposed to be here? Because I kept pulling a
Like, this
bunch
was
of,
good
what are we supposed to
discussions.
have here?
really good.
What do you mean? What are we supposed to?
Well,
do?
I pulled all these out because they were duplicates, but I'm wondering if I'm missing something else. How many pages do
What,
we
the
really
stuff
get
that
here?
Jean gave
Yeah.
us?
That's out of date anyway.
It's
Oh,
out of
So
date.
so
All right.
just scrap it off the web.
Yeah, because it's missing a few of those. So it's a lot, basically.
Okay,
Like 1,000.
all right.
So they-
So our next meeting would be our usual, our usual second Tuesday of the month, which would be,
4/9.
is 4/9. Okay. And you were not gonna be here, is that right, Vanessa?
Unless I can find Wi-Fi connection, I'm going up to the Eclipse in Vermont.
Oh,
on the
that's gonna
8th.
be cool.
And then I don't know where I'll be that morning, because I don't think we're gonna get out of Vermont that night.
You're not going anywhere.
I know, that's the
Traffic's
problem.
gonna be so-
And
Yeah.
if I had stayed at a friend's house, I don't think that I'll have Wi-Fi connection. They're so
Okay.
remote that if I do have connection, it's gonna be. scary.
Okay, and do I have a motion?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
David second.
It is 11:04. All right, good meeting,
All in
guys.
favor?
This is a great.
Oh, yes, all in favor? Aye.